If you've never seen the so-called work that these DEI specialists do, well, we're going to see it today. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about these woke DEI, diversity, etc. specialists who go from place to place speaking about random things. Who knows? Oppression, racism, slavery. They go from place to place, company to company, location to location, and they get paid a big bag of money. I'm talking about big bags of money. I'm talking about Manhattan, New York City, up in the hills, Los Angeles, Star Island. Yes, big money. I know some low-level guys that you probably have never seen before unless you were at the place where you went at a workplace or something like this. I know low-level guys that's raking in six figures a year with no problem. No problem. Just doing little speaking engagements, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. It is a big grift when you're talking about companies that hire them to come in and talk all this diverse and woke and X, Y, and Z talk. It's a bunch of gobbledygook. Anybody who goes to these events, don't take anything they say with, take it with a grain of salt. Don't believe anything they tell you. If you even understand it, which you probably don't. Now, before I go any further, let's get to the first clip here. This guy, all of them, I'm going to show you three people, including Ibram X Kendi, a.k.a. Henry Rogers. I'm going to show you three guys, but this guy right here, I don't even want to spoil it. You got to check it out.
The white gaze, or the white man's gaze, the white man sitting on her shoulder, telling her not to write those things. We are, I'll just be bold and claim, undeniably sitting in systems that are meant to assimilate us. The whole founding of formal education in these territories was meant to erase indigeneity, scrubbed clean to participate in a settler society. Why bring that up now? Well, we still live in a settler colonial reality. Flick that white man off your shoulder. And it's not about individual white people, individual white men. It's about the settler colonial reality and the settler patriarchy that pushes us to move and behave in certain ways. That what if that wasn't there? Because I realized once you flick the settler gaze, the person holding that settler gaze off your shoulder, who takes the place? My ancestors took the place.
Okay, so this guy, first of all, elephant in the room for me. Are you even black, sir? You're looking like an octoroon at best. Matt Barnes has more of a black look than you do. You appear to be white. You're looking like Nikola Jokic's brother at the All-Star game. Is your dad's name Olaf? Is your last name Jorgensen? Like, what's really happening here? Ancestors, how many years ago was this? 1,000 years ago? Who is this person right here? This is from Department of Education. I'm sure on the federal level. Let's go ahead and remove that, defund that. But the Department of Education's Comprehensive Center instructs teachers to flick that white man off your shoulder in order to resist the settler patriarchy and the white gaze. Taxpayer funded. So your taxpayers went to Olaf Jorgensen, a so-called black person, talking to white folks about how being white is bad and you are the oppressor and everybody else is a victim. Okay, let's keep on going here. Now, this guy, CSU President Dr. Luke Wood, talking about racism can give you cognitive issues, cancer, disease, headaches, and more. Let's check it out.
And how basically being in these environments that are oftentimes inherently racist and sexist and dehumanizing, how that has an impact on you. And immediately made me think of the work of a scholar and a good friend, Dr. William Smith, on racial battle fatigue. And I know that many of you in here are familiar with that, but if you aren't, essentially what his work does is he has created a framework for understanding the cognitive, psychological, and physiological impacts that racism has on your body, even when you are in environments that are like subtly racist. So what happens to you when you're sitting and situated in these environments, either as students or as leaders or as faculty members or staff members, what happens? And the reason that he calls it racial battle fatigue is because what he has found is that the impact that racism has on you is very similar to combat stress syndrome in terms of the characteristics and manifestations of what that looks like. So first, he says it impacts you cognitively. your ability to process information, retain information, and your focus, your attentional control. Second, he says that it impacts you psychologically, constant anxiety and worrying, anger suppression, resentment, emotional and social withdrawal. And then it also impacts you physically, tension headaches, backaches, elevated heartbeat, upset stomach. And so he also then shows that when those conditions are present, that it has an elevated risk of disease and cancer and other negative outcomes. And so I do think that it's important.
Alrighty. So there was a whole lot there. First of all, one thing I want to say, and I said it during my live stream, shout out to you guys who were there for that. One thing I want to say is, black men, we got to stop being so soft out here. Yo, tummy hurt. Is that what we're going to do? So you're going to get up in front of all these people, and I'm sure you're getting paid a bunch of money, because I ain't even get to that part yet. This whole big grift, the guy before me, this guy, and the next guy, big bags of money. But anyway, bro, you talking about your tummy hurt because my racism? You are so soft. It is ridiculous. Like, it's weird because you have two different schools of thought. Okay, we came from kings and warriors and all this and that and the third over in Africa. But over here, we crying about a tummy ache and stuff like this. It's like we've been given a much easier way to live life than our ancestors had it. A much easier way, because think about it. My ancestors, I don't know about you, bro, but my ancestors were actually captured by other neighboring tribes of people, then sold to the European for hand mirrors, umbrellas, gunpowder, war gin, stuff like that. That's what actually happened. The white man didn't come on the boat with his high heels and makeup and powdered wig and just defeat the entire Mandingo nation. That was not what happened. So if we were subject to the other tribes in Africa and they say they were oppressed, then what were we? We've been able to come from that and then rise to be the best of us. Although a lot of us still got a lot of problems, we still got some work to do. But regardless, we've risen. We've risen. And you talking about tummy aches? I don't like that. It's a soft way of being. And if you think like that, you're never going to be able to move forward. Well, you can move forward because you're getting paid a lot of money to do this. You're probably making, I say, about $250 a month if you're doing speaking engagements and you working in where you work, CSU. Okay, got a nice, comfortable job. You might do speaking engagements. Okay, you get all kind of stuff going on. You're good. And you want to tell all the rest of us, the masses of us, that we're not doing good without telling us how you got to be where you at. Oh, you know what? I know how you got to be where you are is because you get on these platforms, you get on television in front of these audiences, largely white audiences, and cry about how bad it is being black. I got it. Now, this is Ibram X Kendi, a.k.a. Henry Rogers. His real name is Ibram Henry Rogers. Let's watch.
For instance, when I'm in 8th grade and there's a Ghanaian American student in our class, and I was sort of leading the way in demeaning him because he was an African immigrant. And, you know, we would in class say things like, I would sort of lead this chant, ref, UG, and we would all like say that. Like it was funny as hell to us. But like, you know, and I didn't know that I had internalized ideas about continental Africans from white people.
Okay, so you bully an African person with the refugee chant, and you still think it's funny because you were kind of smiling as you retold the story. You were remembering the story with a little bit of, you know, a fond memory. So you thought it was funny. You think it's funny now. But the reason why you did that is not because you thought it was funny. It's not because your friends thought it was funny. It's because the white man put that in your head to make you do it. The white man made you do it. That's crazy. You know what? As I close, I want to say this. Going back to my live stream, this is why I start every stream with, hey, you know I'm late, blame the white man. Because it's a joke. It's literally a joke. Everything is blamed on the white man. Hey, your stomach hurts, blame the white man. You bullied somebody in elementary school, blame the white man. You did home invasion, kidnapping, you got up late for work. It's always a white man's fault. When is it ever your fault? When is it ever your fault? It's 2025. A lot of these same conversations have been had for 150 years. Personally, I'm beyond the conversation. I'll have the conversation because it's still being had. But me, I've long since abandoned any type of interest in that conversation about trying to blame the white man and trying reparations. Like, I don't live my life thinking about that because I'm too busy succeeding and living my life with purpose. That's where I'm at. I'm not worried about anything from the past. You can't really fix it. Anybody gonna do nothing about it. So what will I do to advance myself in my life? It's very simple, but I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your opinion about some of these speeches and the whole grift that is going on? All these people, the DEI, the black struggle, all this and that and the third. Oh, and if I didn't mention the money that they get paid, like I said, some guys I know making 6 figures a month. I know some guys is hitting towards M's. I don't know them personally, but I know of them. I know this little industry, I guess, is kind of small. So I know people that may not know that I know them. And I know kind of what they got going on. They making a lot of money, big money. A lot of them are doing some little kind of, out of the way stuff, a little bit of scamming on the side. They're raking in the dough. They've been able to succeed, although by unscrupulous means, but they've been able to succeed. Why don't they talk about that? Because if they do, then their whole little grift is ruined. They can't talk about how to succeed and how to go forward. That's not going to make them money. You see what I'm saying? So those individuals, like I said, those individuals that come to your job, if you see them on the internet or something like this, and they're at some event in front of a microphone that's well produced, and it's like, okay, who's producing that? Who's behind that? Who is this person? Who do they work for? You got to ask questions because a lot of them are funded to give you a false message. It's propaganda at the end of the day. They don't care about pushing propaganda. They're still getting paid. They're able to feed their families. All that is going to happen is you get affected if you believe them, which is why I say don't believe them and don't believe me. Research, read, figure out things for yourself, and don't be taken advantage of by these grifters because they are among us. They are among us, and they have a big incentive to keep the grift going. We're talking about millions of billions of dollars on the line if the grift ends. And one more thing as I close for real. This is why they're against ending USAID, because a lot of that money went into their pocket. Oh, Elon, he's an emperor. Is it about that? Or are they afraid that Elon will catch on to what's happening with the USAID money, cut it off, and now they can't go to French Laundry with Gavin Newsom. Now they can't go to Bali. Now they can't go ride an elephant in Thailand. You see how this works? Do you see how it works? I know you guys do, and if you don't, now you do, or at least you should. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.